Hey there. I'm going to go over the highlights of what we covered in Business Booster this week. A quick recap in case you missed it. So some of you may know my background is marketing, and I owned a marketing agency for 8 years prior to launching Hera Hub. I am not a publicist. I am not the ultimate expert on publicity, but I've done it a lot, not only in my prior business, but for Hera Hub as well. So we're going to be talking about really kind of what most people think of when they think of PR, which is really media relations or getting media exposure. So this is kind of earned exposure instead of pay for exposure is what some folks will refer to this as. And we're going to talk about kind of the basics. So I'm framing this around television, magazines, newspaper, anything we think of as traditional media. And you can pay to be in those publications, or you can try to get a little creative and see if you can create a story around you or your business to have them write about you or cover you without having to pay to do that. Now, I will just say, hiring a publicist is extremely helpful, and if you can afford it, I recommend it. And I'm happy to give you tips or advice on that depending on your situation, because this is a lot of work. It is quite a bit of work. So if you are bootstrapping and you can get an intern to help with some of this, that can be helpful as well. But even knowing the roadmap of what to do. So I'm going to try to give you the highlights today. Hope this will be helpful to at least get you thinking, so to speak. So number one, who to pitch. You have to know, number one, who your audience is and what they read, watch, and listen to. So for Hera Hub, the San Diego Business Journal is a really good option, right? We're not going to pitch an entertainment magazine, right? Or San Diego Home Garden Living, because that's, some business owners might be there, but much more of them are reading the San Diego Business Journal. So knowing who to pitch and knowing the person you are pitching. So you've got to do your homework, right? You have to do your research. Sending a press release to info@sandiegobusinessjournal.com is not going to work anymore. It's just no one's paying attention to that. So you have to get to know who's the writer or who's the anchor that's covering your particular industry area, and you really want to build a relationship with them. This is something hopefully you'll be able to pitch them multiple times. They may not bite on the first one, but if you can build a relationship and be a resource for them, they may come back to you. So knowing what outlets to go to, getting the specific person that you need to be in touch with, and getting their email address. Easier said than done sometimes, but you got to figure it out, frankly. And then you from there can create your media list. I recommend don't go crazy with this. Just do a top 5. I mean, that's plenty of work for you to figure out and reach out to those folks. Don't go creating a media list of every newspaper, magazine, and television station in your town. You're not gonna have time for that. So just top 5, let's focus on that. Okay, what to pitch? It has to be newsworthy and timely, especially for television. Now, television is cranking out content all of the time. So they are looking for experts. They're looking for folks like you who have an expertise to comment or come on or talk about something that is newsworthy and timely, okay? So on the day I'm recording this, we are very focused on COVID-19, right? So we just launched our Hera Hub Temecula location last week, 2 weeks ago, and the general "we're open for business" announcements, going to fall on deaf ears right now because that's not what people are focused on. So is there a human interest story? Is there a way that the business is helping out the community given the current health scare? So you really have to, pay attention to what's going on in the news that you want to get into. You need to watch it, read it, listen to it, whatever it is. And you need to be, not tone deaf, right? You need to be pitching something that makes sense for that period of time. So newsworthy, timely, so critically important. You just opening your doors is typically not going to be a story that they care about. You've got to tie into other things. Another thing you could pitch on this front is a study. So media likes this, TV especially. Again, they're cranking out so much content. So a study that was released by a particular organization that applies to your business. And the bigger, the better the publication. Harvard, for example, would be a good credible source on that. Quick example, we pitched just local news. We pitched The Who to pitch. We actually pitched not the segment producer. We pitched the actual anchor herself because my publicist had seen that she had done some similar stories on this type of topic, and it seems like she might have been interested in it. It was a Cloud Kitchens survey. What the heck is Cloud Kitchens anyways? But it looked kind of official, and it found that San Diego was the third top city in the nation for self-employed people. We pitched it, she bit. And then that conversation on the how to pitch. So Michelle my publicist did the initial pitching. Then Stella responded pretty quickly to that. And the conversation ensued extremely quickly. We got an email back. We were texting all afternoon. We got on the phone that evening. I had to send her my media kit. So all the information that she needed, images, B-roll, everything was already prepped in that media kit. Just the basics of the business. Boom, one link, you're done. So, you've got to be ready for that. And this is a good time to get ready for that, like getting all those materials together. We booked the segment. It was just a couple days after that, so I had to kind of scramble to get everything ready. They came to Hera Hub. It ended up being a really good segment. It was about 5 minutes. We interviewed myself and some of our members, so it turned out really, really nice. So if you are pitching cold yourself, start with email, simple. You don't need to write a press release. Just a simple email, subject line that catches their attention. Here's what I think is interesting and important. Here's why I'm the person to talk about it. Here's some more information. So you send that. If you can track that through a platform, that would be great. Then I don't say stalk, I say ambush. I ambush them on multiple platforms. So when I send that email, I also find them on LinkedIn and Twitter. I connect with them on LinkedIn. I will like things that they've done on Twitter. I will retweet them. I will do everything I can to make sure on as many platforms as possible my name comes up. So when they do get my email that way, they like, oh, this is a bit familiar. Okay, so follow up. You got to follow up. They maybe don't see it the first time. Don't stalk them, but send follow up. And, this is a relationship, right? This is a relationship. So they may not pick it up the first time, but maybe the second time they see your email, they start to get familiar with who you are. I'm going to jump all the way ahead to award recognition. This is not only great for press, but it's also a way for the media to get to know your name. So the more things you're nominated for, especially as it relates to like this, any kind of business journal or local magazines or organizations that have their own press, that is going to help you get exposure and start to get your name recognized as a thought leader in your community. So we talked about the media kit, press page. Once you do have anything that comes out, you need to be putting that on your press page. You need a process for that. For us personally, our VA helps with that, Mary Rose. So I just simply, boom, we got to press it. She creates a graphic. She puts it on our site. She handles all that. So keeping your press page up to date. And then this came up in Business Booster this week, which was a great suggestion and not something I had done, is looking at adding video to Yelp and Google. So for example, if you did get into, you had a local TV spot or something like that, actually uploading that to your Yelp and Google accounts for social proof, because that's what we're talking about. This is all about social proof. Now I'm going to tell you, we've done a fair bit of television. If you are going to do TV, get some media training, because it's not easy to be on camera and to interact and answer the questions appropriately and make sure knowing when to redirect the questions and how to get your point across. That's a whole art in and of itself. So media training, I would suggest, if this is the path you're going down, invest a little money in that. But those TV spots, honestly, I'm not getting, traffic, the right member off of that, because it's such a broad audience. But then I get to repurpose that, and I get to say, as seen on CBS, and I get to use that video. I do download those videos. There are clipping services that you can use to get that content. There is a fee for that. We just kind of bootleg it and download it, and then I'll put it up on my YouTube channel, because sometimes that content goes away as well, and you want to capture that. Also, why are you driving traffic to the CBS page? So I download the video, I upload it to our YouTube channel, then I embed it as a blog post, and then when I share that on social and in our newsletter and everywhere we can, we are driving people back to our website and not to CBS's website. Sorry, CBS. Okay, couple more tips here. The Hera has been around for a while. It stands for Help a Reporter Out. This is a place where reporters can go and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody who's an expert on XYZ, or can comment on this, or has experience with this for a particular article I'm writing. It's a ton of work. You have to be monitoring it every day. The ROI for that time is, I feel, gotten less and less. We have had a couple decent media hits out of it over the years, but it's a lot of work. We just learned this week from Lori Itkin, a member in Sorrento Valley, about a platform called Quoted Q, WOTED. It's something I'm going to check out. I haven't seen it. She said it's a little narrower, a little more focused on business, so that's a really great tip. Award recognition, I already mentioned. This is a great way to get free press. Get yourself nominated, nominate yourself. Again, there are a lot of organizations that do award recognition programs. Those are great as well, but the media specific ones, again, San Diego Magazine does a Women of the Year. San Diego Business Journal does a small business event. So focus on those ones initially that are, tied to the media, because then you get that exposure in those publications and you can leverage it. So let's talk leverage. Last thing, you want to share this everywhere and share it consistently, right? I mean, you maybe go back and look at your business and see that you had an article a couple years ago. Resurface that. If it's relevant, if somebody wrote a piece on you, keep using it. So if you use your press page as your kind of index of all these things, then make it a practice in your marketing to go back maybe twice, whatever, I don't know, every other month and pull from that, and then use that to seed your social posts and things of that nature. Spread it everywhere. That is social proof that you are a business that the media wants to write about, wants to cover, and it is really, really great leverage. So as you can see, it's a lot of work. If you have the budget, I cannot recommend enough to hire a publicist to help you do all of these things, because it is a lot of work. But again, if you're bootstrapping, you don't have to do all these things. Just pick a few things. Pick one publication that you want to get into and just, work it. See, pay attention, find a contact, touch base with them, try to build a relationship, go to events where they might be, that type of thing. And follow them. These journalists move around a ton. The world of media has changed significantly. This whole AB5 and freelancers, and it's just continuing to change, it feels like day by day. So with that, really pay attention to those journalists. So I'll give you a quick example. When we announced our launch of Temecula Hera Hub about a year ago, and Alicia started building the community, we got 5 or so pretty nice articles, mostly print. And so now that she's open, it's a good time to follow up with those folks. But what she needs to do first is go on LinkedIn. Are they even still there? Because they've likely moved. Where did they move to? Is it still a good contact for you? If not, then you still need to find the right person at that publication to go and build a relationship with. So it's a moving target. It's changing all of the time. But with a bit of effort and a bit of luck, you should be able to, and strategy, a lot of strategy, kind of work your way in. And it is very, very valuable to your business. All right, that's it for now.